Joe Miele has built a ton of momentum in his business, and we're going to unpack it next. So I'm here with super agent, good friend, realtor extraordinaire, Joe Miele, and Joe has been on this journey of building momentum the right way in his business. And right now we're sitting here in the middle of March, and he has 6 sales and $3.5 million plus under contract. So that means he's pacing 29 sales and almost $17 million in volume, which that gets me excited. But how have you done this? Because you got into real estate, the market shifted right before your eyes. It wasn't easy for a lot of people, and you've responded the way that I think a lot of people are trying to right now, given the current volatility.
Definitely, Tom. So last year, it was a tale of two halves of the year. Started off really hot. Houses were flying off the shelves. Everyone was super motivated to buy. The rates were still relatively low. Then came the second half of the summer into the fall and early winter months, and the market was at a standstill almost. So I took advantage of that downtime. Knowing that the work that I put in day to day, in October, November, December, I would reap those benefits 60 to 90 days later, which is where we are now. And it was basically three main ideas that I kind of boiled it down to. One was everything starts with your CRM, keeping that in tip-top shape and updated with your to-dos, everyone's status, accurate, so that you know who's going to transact and when. Everything starts there. Next was just getting back to the basics with my buyers, prepping them for what was to come, knowing that their timeline may be 3 to 6 months down the line, so that when it was time to transact, we were ready to go. They didn't have any questions. They were fully prepped. And the last thing, I think, was just developing this personality trait that I don't think I had before, but is persistence. Learning how to be a persistent agent, to benefit my buyers and to build relationships with other agents out there, listing agents, has definitely paid dividends here in the spring so far.
You make it sound easy. I mean, it's like, just do these 3 things. You're going to see a lot of success in your business. I'd argue your second point, back to the basics, to me, it's embracing the advanced tactics, because most realtors, the basics are, I'm not going to call anybody today. Maybe I'll go to lunch somewhere. What's going to happen later? I'm going to go home and I didn't get anything done. You're talking about really structuring your day, and you're structuring your systems to support your day. So, how long did it take you to kind of pick up those things? Because it can be overwhelming when you have a ton of leads and you're trying to figure out how to sell real estate. And obviously, you're having wild success here. So, what was that learning curve like, and when did it start to click for you?
Yeah, so it definitely is a lot to manage. I think it all boils down to having your calendar on point. Having the time blocks in place for when you're going to be prospecting, when you're going to be following up with people, out showing houses, and when you're going to have personal time. If you stray from that schedule, your days are going to be in disarray. You're going to be lost. You're not going to know which way is up. So once you have that structure in place for your day-to-day, even a nighttime schedule, I would turn my phone off at 9 o'clock, keep it away from my bed so that I wasn't distracted, so I could get a full night's sleep, wake up ready to go. And then hit my morning routine. And following that structure day in and day out allowed me to do some of these items on a day-to-day basis, which was, send personal videos to people, prep my appointments with buyers so that I was hyper-focused on the neighborhoods that I was showing, and I was the knowledge broker for them. Just making sure that my day-to-day schedule was on point and always updated, made sure that I didn't stray from the path of success that I was after.
I mean, I'm hearing a ton of discipline here. We've talked off video about, you're also really disciplined about your health, right? And you really think about that stuff. Do you think that helps you become more disciplined in your business? Do you see a correlation there?
Oh, 100%. When I'm focusing on waking up at a reasonable time, getting my meditation in, stretching, going to the gym, getting that done before the workday starts, I find that the rest of my day has some flow to it. I have some energy. Everything else sort of falls into place. Eating right, not staying up late. It all goes hand in hand. If you have a bad mentality, it's going to bleed over into your work life, and no one wants that.
What I love here is there's all these different levels to when you start something new, and really it sounds like you're getting to the point where you're unconsciously competent, where it's like muscle memory, and you kind of know what to do, and it's becoming more natural to you. The persistence part, a lot of agents are afraid to be persistent. They're afraid people are going to get yelled at them. Were you nervous about that when you were doing these excessive follow-ups or excessive negotiations, like a large sale you closed that kind of got you in and got you an edge? How did you go from starting to feel like you're maybe bothering somebody? Was that an issue for you? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a very non-confrontational person, as the people who know me know well. So kind of developing, it's not really even an edge. It's just, I had to trick myself into thinking that I'm just doing this for the benefit of my client. I want them to get what they want. And in order to do that, you're going to need to make a bunch of calls, not only to them, but to potentially another agent to get a deal done, to forge that relationship. So it just took, realizing that and kind of just biting the bullet and doing it, and getting the feedback from other from buyers, from clients, and from other agents telling me that the reason that I got in the door with them was because I followed up 4, 5, 6 times. It was all I needed to hear to know that I was doing the right thing.
It makes it a lot better when you hear the good feedback instead of these people hate me because I'm bothering all the time, which is a fear a lot of people have. So I heard CRM discipline. I heard embracing the advance. You called it back to the basics because it's what everyone tells you to do. A lot of people just don't do it.
Right.
And being persistent and being the last person to follow up. So I imagine there's people watching because I think what's happened with the market is there's folks that are kind of struggling a little bit right now. They're not getting their footing because they got into the business right around when you did, and it was let's go, easy to sell houses. There's other people that maybe forgot what the basics were, forgot what the advanced things are to do. What advice do you have for somebody looking to build momentum? Because when I see you, like, there's a different mindset. Like, you're on a mission. I can see you're focused, and that's obviously got to be part of it. I'd imagine someone else watching is feeling like they need to build this momentum too. What would you tell them?
Sure. It's never too late to start. Start today. Just get a plan in place. It starts by, like I said, getting your calendar in order, and the rest kind of falls into place. You just have to write out your goals. You have to write out every task that you have to do each day, but don't give yourself too many things. Tom, you always preach if you set 3 or 4 goals, or too many goals, you're gonna achieve none of them. So make sure that it's realistic and achievable, and you just have to put your head down and do the work, knowing that in 60 to 90 days down the line, that's when you will see the results. Don't expect instant results. When I was grinding away in November, December, when everyone else was taking Christmas vacations, I just knew, the spring, it's gonna pop, and here we are. So.
We literally had that conversation. I think it was like December 30th. You and I and a couple guys were out grabbing a couple drinks, and you're like, I am ready for the spring. Let's go. And that's really good advice. We live in a 60, 90-day world, and I think a lot of people tend to forget that.
Yep.
So, Joe, I am excited to come back on in 9 months when you've done 29 sales and 17 million. And I am really pumped for all the momentum you have, and you've done all the work, my man. So just grateful for you. Keep kicking ass, brother.